Hello, welcome to the lunch edition of MBC News, and you are with me, Evelis Chingambi, coming up this afternoon. Organizations involved in humanitarian and charity work urged to passionately support underprivileged communities. Government warns beneficiaries of relief items against sale of the items. And limited access to potable water continues to pose a serious cholera outbreak threat on residents. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. Organizations involved in humanitarian and charity work need to collaborate effectively to impact on less privileged communities in the country. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah made the remarks at Capitol Hill in Lilongwe, where senior officials from Development Aid from People to People, DAPP Malawi, paid her a courtesy visit. Charles O'Hara reports.
According to the Special Assistant on Governance in the Office of the First Vice President, Alex Majila, the meeting was very fruitful as Development Aid from People to People officials updated her on various initiatives they are implementing to positively impact and change lives in the country. Majila added that since DAPP has expanded its operations into health, nutrition, agriculture and education, it is important to continue partnering with the government of Malawi in various areas of need.
Well, the government has always encouraged the partnership between the non-government organization and the government, because the government in itself cannot do everything. It relies very much as well on the partnership between them and the non-government organization. So the coming in of DAPP, which essentially came in 1995, primarily to sell second-hand clothes, and now they've grown into several sectors of agriculture, health. I think it's a milestone to this country.
Taking his turn, DAPP Malawi Country Director Moses Chibwana pledged continued support to the Malawi government following the organization's expansion.
We talked about what DAPP is doing in different sectors, in sector of education, where we are having 4 teacher training colleges, we have a vocational school. We talked about on health, where I also working with Minister of Health in disease and preventives like HIV and AIDS, malaria, TB, nutrition. We talked about in food security, where DAPP also is involved in food security programs, in farmers clubs programs. We also talked about our second-hand clothes, how important it is to the economy of the country, how much we are creating jobs through our selling second-hand clothes, also the paying of tax, how also it contributes to the economy of the country.
DAPP started its operations in Malawi in 1995. Charles O'Hara, MBC, Lilongwe.
Malawi has received a consignment of relief items from Zimbabwe, which will facilitate the recovery process for disaster-affected households. The relief items include 300 tons of sorghum, cooking oil, sugar, tents, blankets, among other items. Minister of Foreign Affairs George Chaponda has since commended the government of Zimbabwe for helping the recovery efforts for those affected by natural disasters here in Malawi. Details in this report.
The relief items which have been mobilized by the government of Zimbabwe are expected to support victims of natural disasters such as drought and floods, which undermined crop production last year. Zimbabwean High Commissioner to Malawi, Nancy Songweme, says Zimbabwe heeded the call because of the strong bonds between the two nations.
Malawi and Zimbabwe, as you are aware, we are just one family. We have got very strong ties. So obviously, when the president heard of it, that was the first call, the first place he wanted to help, and that's Malawi.
And Malawi's Minister of Foreign Affairs, George Chaponda, has hailed the Zimbabwean government for the support, describing it as critical for building resilience of the affected households.
They say a friend in need is a friend indeed. And they have not only done that, but they've come with these trucks with a variety of items which will go very far to alleviate the suffering of the people in the villages, in the communities. What is more gratifying is that we are also told that there are another load of trucks which are coming with other food items. We are most grateful.
Chief Secretary to the government, Justin Saidi, has since highlighted that government is making progress in meeting the national response targets. Government has so far raised 138.4 billion kwacha out of the targeted 209.4 billion kwacha meant to support the identified 4 million households across the country. And following the incessant rains this year which affected over 36,000 households, government has also raised 4.6 billion kwacha out of the targeted 8.6 billion kwacha to support those affected by the floods. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Beneficiaries of relief items have been warned against selling of the items. A representative from the Office of the Chief Secretary to Government, Rashid Cholera, made the call when he led officials from the Department of Disaster Management Affairs (DAPP) in disaster response at Luchenza Municipality in Chiolo District. Charles Chindongo and Yohani Jizomola have more in this report, being read by Romeo Mali.
Cholera issued the stern warning after DAPP reached out to hundreds of people affected by hunger with the relief maize in Luchenza municipality in Chiolo district. According to Cholera, the Disaster Risk Management Act criminalizes the selling of items that are meant for disaster relief, among other provisions.
They shouldn't, because to begin with, to be given that relief maize is because we've identified that there's hunger, they are vulnerable. But also there's the DRM Act, which actually prevent people from selling relief food. So the Act will caught up with them in an unfortunate situation, but we don't want things to reach that far.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian for the area, Chimwemwe, who is also the Minister of Lands and Urban Development, has commended the government for the swift response. He has since appealed for more humanitarian support, as over 6,000 people are in dire need of food assistance in the area.
Luchenza, the figure is around 8,000, and 1,200 is not enough. So we are appealing for, relevant stakeholders to assist us, so that we should mitigate the issues of hunger.
The latest Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Committee report indicates that over 4 million people are facing hunger from October 2025 to March this year. Reacting from that, President Professor Peter Mutharika declared a state of disaster in all 28 districts, including cities, appealing for humanitarian support from both local and international organizations, companies and well-wishers.
Government has started mass payment of gratuities to retired civil servants in the country, a development that the Association of Retired Civil Servants has commended. Government has also cleared pension gratuities owed to civil servants who retired in 2023 following the approval of additional 197 billion kwacha in the 2025-2026 media budget review. Yamikani Simtoe reports.
According to the Association of Retired Civil Servants, those who retired from 2022 faced challenges in receiving their gratuities from the Treasury. When President Professor Peter Mutharika assumed office in September last year, he promised to clear the backlog of gratuities owed to retired civil servants. A visit to the one-stop center at the Regional Treasury Cashier in Lilongwe shows that the normal retirement unit and the beneficiary transfer unit have processed and cleared all outstanding gratuities for civil servants who retired in 2023. Currently, the beneficiary transfer unit is processing files for those who retired in February 2024, while the normal retirement unit is handling files for civil servants who retired in April 2024. This development is encouraging and inspires hope not only among retired civil servants awaiting their pensions, but also those approaching retirement. Wenes Pwele from Nzuzu and Isaac Mitawa from Lilongwe explained that many retired civil servants had struggled to support their families because they could not receive their money on time. Meanwhile, Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanamveka stated that the disbursement process will be conducted transparently and on a first-come, first-served basis.
I want to assure the pensioners that I know our president always promises what he can do, and he will do what he promises. And it's not really a promise because it's happening now. So I want to assure the leadership of the pensioners, as well as the pensioners themselves, that we'll walk the talk and that everybody will be paid, and will just remain maybe for a waiting period of 3 months because it's a continuous process. People continue to retire.
He also said the government is working to reduce the waiting period for pension gratuities from 6 months to 3 months. The Association of Retired Civil Servants emphasized that it will continue working closely with the Accountant General to monitor the implementation of this important initiative. Yamikanisi Mutowe, MBC Lilongwe.
Minister of Transport and Public Works, Jabi Mhango, has ordered the contractor for Nsanje Mwaka Border Road to redo the project. Mhango gave the order after noting that the contractor delivered substandard work on the project. The minister recently visited the site in the Shilivari district. We have a report by Geoffrey Chinawa.
Speaking after appreciating the 27 kilometers road, the minister noted that the load is of substandard quality. Muhango questioned the workmanship, and he has since ordered officials from his ministry to liaise with the contractor to redo the work.
The stretch from Nsanje Boma going to Maka was poorly built, so the works there is substandard, and I've therefore asked the ministry to summon the contractor who was doing that work to redo the job, because that is what is provided for in our laws. If you don't do show the work, you take responsibility. How it is going to be done, the mechanics will be between the ministry and the one that did that project. They will discuss and find the best way how this matter should be resolved.
From Maka Road, the minister also toured the construction works of Maka Nsanje Bangula railway line. Here, the Transport and Public Works Minister said the current administration is geared to revitalize the transport sector by uplifting the rail transport industry. In his remarks, Senior Chief Tengano of Nsanje commended the minister for echoing their concerns about the quality of the Nsanje-Maka border road.
Concerned with the quality of the road construction, and we've requested the minister to revisit the project. And our wish is that this road has to be rebuilt from scratch. It's a very substandard road, not befitting M1 road. So I've also complained to the minister that the rail project has taken too long. It started in 2018, and by now we should have been saying that goods are being offloaded at the Boma. But we are far from that. So I appeal to the minister to make sure that by August, September, he has to make sure that this section of the rail is being utilized.
The Nsanje-Maka Road connects the countries of Malawi and Mozambique. Jeffrey Shinawa, MBC Nsanje.
You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelys Chingambe. A reminder of our top stories. Organizations involved in humanitarian and charity work urged to passionately support underprivileged communities. Government warns beneficiaries of relief items against sale of the items. And limited access to potable water continues to pose a serious cholera outbreak threat on residents. Welcome back. Limited access to potable water continues to pose a serious threat on residents of Cholera Township in Blantyre amid the ongoing cholera outbreak. Cholera remains one of the hardest hit areas in Blantyre, which accounts for nearly half of all cholera cases recorded in the district. We have more in this report compiled by Alfisha Fisher, being read by Amin Musa.
One of the residents, Alinafe Kamula from Mulunguzi area, said although there is massive supplied water in the area, the cost remains unaffordable for many households. This makes people to rely on water from Muluda River for drinking and domestic use, exposing themselves to health risks.
The available water points are not enough considering the high population in this area. The water from the water board kiosks is even not affordable for most people here, as we are required to pay 200 kwacha for a 20-liter plastic bucket. This is the biggest challenge that we are facing here. We're just requesting the authorities to provide us with more water kiosks and make the water a bit cheaper for everyone.
Health advocate Maziko Matemba fears that without affordable, reliable clean water in high-density urban areas, cholera will continue to return.
We want to authorities to make sure that they rectify this problem, because it can create more problems for other communities surrounding the area. So it's sad to learn that still, even in cities, people are still not accessing safe water and hygienic. So this has to be done by the council, but also by the city.
Director of Sanitation and Health Services at Blantyre District Health Office, Dr. Gift Kawalazira, said as an interim measure to reduce the risk of infection, they have distributed chlorine in addition to the vaccination exercise to households that depend on river water.
Intervening by providing chlorine, which is a chemical that they use to actually treat and save water, so that they should actually protect themselves from cholera. Number 3, we have also received cholera vaccine from the Ministry of Health, about 24,000 doses that we have actually earmarked to actually administer to the populations that are actually at high risk, including those people here in Cholera, especially Mulunguzi area.
As of Tuesday, the country has cumulatively recorded 51 cholera cases with 2 deaths. Half of these cases were recorded in Blantyre.
The Malawi Broadcasting Corporation (MBC) has pledged to enhance its broadcasting services through mechanisms that encourage balanced coverage and professionalism of its staff. MBC Acting Director General Moses Joni made the assurance during a meeting with the Media, Information and Communications Committee of Parliament. Catherine Banda with the details.
Leading the MBC delegation, MBC Acting Director General Moses Joni said MBC has registered progress by developing its mobile application. He said the application will allow the public access MBC TV1 and MBC 2 on the go, Radio 1 and 2 on the go, which will help generate revenue for the institution. He said the app has been finalized and will be launched soon. Chioni added that the institution has also procured an outside broadcasting van, which is expected to be in the country by March this year. He said this will enhance outside broadcasting and complement income generation efforts. On strategic plans, Chioni said mechanisms to regain public trust are already in place that include staff trainings, ensuring independence and professional reporting. Chioni also said the institution, however, faces challenges that include aging transmission and broadcasting infrastructure and funding constraints that are impacting on its operations, among others.
What we want to ensure is that we want to put in place mechanisms to ensure that as a public broadcaster we're able to act indeed as a public broadcaster. We're able to provide balanced coverage without bias, political bias. So we going to ensure that our staff are able to report or carry out their duties professionally and independently.
Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Media, Information and Communication, Kingo Lipuga described the meeting as fruitful. He also pledged to support the institution towards the concerns raised.
Our role after the engagement, we do have the report which we present in the parliament. So we will also equally ask the same if they may be assisted in this, because MBC is the state-owned broadcasting unit. That means that as Malawians, we are proud to have MBC.
MBC has also highlighted that steps to ensure strategic professional journalism standards, accuracy, credibility, as well as quality control systems are in place. Catherine Banda, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Blantyre City Mayor Isaac Jomo Osman plans to turn Blantyre into a green city by restoring trees in all the mountains and hills in the city. Osman made these remarks when he was launching the 2026 tree planting season on Michiru Mountain in Chilomoni Township. Details in this report.
There are 4 major hills in Blantyre City, namely Michiru, Sochi, Ndilande and Mpingwe. Over the years, they have been in a state of disrepair due to encroachment that has resulted in wanton cutting down of trees for charcoal burning and illegal settlement. At the launch of the 2026 tree planting season on Michiru Mountain in Chilomoni Township in Blantyre, Mayor for the city Isaac Jomo Osman says he has plans to bring back the old glory in the next 5 years through collaboration with the youth and the cooperative world.
Each and every year you hear that the companies are spending more than 100 million, the budget for tree planting. This year we want to tell all well-wishers, all the companies, when they are making their budgets, they need to make a budget of 3 years. The money that they spend in 3 years, they can use it to give to the youth. We have a lot of youth who are not doing things. So we need to bring the youth and give them something to do. So around Blantyre we have youth network. We want to use that youth network to empower the youth to look after the trees. By the time that they are waiting for employment, they should take care about our mountains.
In her remarks, plantation manager for Michiru Mountain, Aida Masongo Mbangombe, says through community involvement they have been restoring trees on Michiru Mountain. The communities have mobilized themselves in managing the trees and providing security.
This plan is helping the communities to know the importance of protecting the forest and the importance of managing trees. And it is assisting us a lot because it is assisting us in managing the forest. We are using the surrounding communities to protect the forest instead of using the police. This initiative is very good and is profitable to use the surrounding communities to protect the trees.
Commenting, Group Village Chilomoni says the restoration of trees on Michiru Mountain has helped to address the climate change challenges the communities were experiencing in the past, such as mudslides. This year, they intend to plant over 30,000 trees. Simon Boyce, MBC News, Blantyre.
In entertainment, local artists have been urged to shift their focus from rivalry to excellency as opportunities on the international stage continue to open up for Malawian creatives. Amapiano artist Zeze Kingston and singer Amy Debo gave the advice on arrival from China, where they recently completed ambassadorship duties with the Chinese firm Jensen Group. Emmanuel Shokonso reports.
Fresh from China, Zeze Kingston and Amy Debo touched down at Kamuzu International Airport, marking what they describe as a milestone moment in their careers. Their trip sparked mixed reactions on social media back home, with some questioning their suitability for the ambassadorship. However, the two artists say their partnership with the Chinese company represents more than personal success. They describe it as an opportunity to showcase Malawian culture internationally, while also creating pathways for other creatives to access global platforms. Speaking on arrival, Zeze Kingston urged fellow artists to take their craft seriously noting that discipline and consistency can unlock international opportunities and enable Malawians to compete on the global stage.
I want to motivate every artist, every Malawian artist, being musical, poet, this drawing, every artist. If you know you're an artist, please work hard. There are people out there that are listening to your songs. There are people out there that are checking what we're doing and they love what we're doing. And Malawi cannot just be the end of it. So it's possible. If we have done it, we didn't know, but it's godly. We thank God for all these opportunities, and we thank God for the people that came forward to choose me and Amy to go there.
Meanwhile, Amy Debo called for unity within the creative industry, encouraging artists to move away from competition and jealousy and instead collaborate in promoting Malawi abroad.
If you believe in what you are doing, do that, no matter what anyone can say about it. No matter how much negativity you're going to face, keep doing it, and one day you're going to, be there where you want to be.
The duo said their experience in China has reinforced the importance of professionalism and teamwork as Malawi continues to position itself within the global creative economy. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
In sports, National Bank of Malawi has supported the Southern Region Chess League with 5 million kwacha towards the Veterans Chess Tournament scheduled for 20 February in Blantyre. Speaking during the symbolic check presentation in Blantyre, NBM Business Development Manager James Ngalande said the sponsorship is aimed at promoting the well-being of people through sports. Southern Region Chess League Chairperson Martin Nyamilandu and veteran Tutuli Msugwa described the Veterans Tournament as a special platform to honor players who have contributed in developing and promoting chess over the years.
Today we have in the company of Mr. Tutule Nsukwa, who is representing the veterans. He has previously supported us with the tournaments that the league has been holding. These are not tournaments for the veterans. So you look at it that individuals are coming in to support chess in their individual capacity. So we felt it is important that they also get recognized.
This idea, this issue of National Bank supporting chess, veteran chess, is a very welcome, because most of the times find that if there is chess, most times it's not it's the other groups or the other grouping, like maybe a player from the national team. So National Bank coming with the veterans, it means they are really very happy and they are really appreciating that for anything to be as it is, it needs people who are old like me, who can guide people. So I think we're very happy to have National Bank.
The bank is coming in by recognizing the fact that what the association does aligns with the bank's values. Chess is not just about the game. It's about developing the strategies. It's about problem solving and what have you. So as a bank, we also believe in the same. We are in business without having the need or skills in terms of how you resolve your problems. Definitely, you can go out of the business. So as a bank, we recognize the fact that these are the values that are required in business. That's why we are sponsoring this particular association.
That's it from us this afternoon. A reminder of the top stories before we leave. Organizations involved in humanitarian and charity work urged to passionately support underprivileged communities. Government warns beneficiaries of relief items against sale of the items. And limited access to potable water continues to pose a serious cholera outbreak threat on residents. For our latest updates, visit Embassy Digital on Facebook, X and Instagram. You've been with me, Evelis Chingambe. Thanks for watching and good afternoon.